Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Welcome back to another episode of Total Extreme Wrestling 2016, Billy Corgan's NWA. We are here for another episode of Starrcade. I believe this is the second show until our next pay-per-view. This is going to be on Hulu Plus. Where we last left off, obviously we had some interesting going-ons, I would say. Billy Corgan is completely absent for some reason. We don't know where he is or what he's doing. And in his stead, the grandson of the founder of the company has taken over the reins and has basically manipulated and kind of caused a major disruption within the system going on here. There was a major title change with Enzo Amore now taking the title from Nick Aldous in sort of a low blow, little cheaty way in a three-way triple threat match. So definitely some interesting happenings going on here. And we're going to see if there's a continuation of that. Maybe Billy's back, maybe not. But first, we have to set up the show. What we see here is we do have, backstage ratings continuing to drop. Everyone's pretty okay. Raven, for some reason, is still a negative influence, as so is Josephus. But most people seem to be relatively positive, though it will be noted that there was definitely a lot of people angry lately at me. So mostly just being either left off shows or just bad gimmick changes or things like that. Stuff that it'll go away eventually. So I'm not that concerned about it. Let's go ahead and take a look at our locker room incident stuff. We got several. We'll start with Enzo and Kahagas. Enzo annoyed Kahagas by constantly mocking his lack of push. Enzo immediately causing trouble in my locker room. All right. So, I could choose to go about this a couple different ways. If you've never seen, like I said, I think this is the first time we really have had any major incidents here. So, as his employer, I could choose what to do. I could just fire him outright, suspend him, fine him, give him a stern warning, a slap on the wrist, or take no action. All of these will do a different amount of things to either Enzo or Kahagas or other people in the locker room, depending on how they feel about the situation. So, for example, if I were to take no action at all, Enzo may get worse in his behavior, and Kahagas may get annoyed at the decision. In the same way, if I suspend him, Kahagas may be very happy with it, or maybe not. Maybe he might even feel that was too far and this wasn't that big of an incident. And then, Enzo might improve his behavior but be annoyed or angry at me. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap him on the wrist. It's, I'm not going to upset him. This is not a big deal. This is him just being an asshole. I don't think that really anything more than just say, hey, stop it, is really worth investing in. So incident was handled. Nothing noteworthy was resulted. So he hasn't improved, but no one's upset. He just knows, hey, stop doing it. We got an incident with DJ Hyde and Dalton Castle. DJ Hyde was antagonizing Dalton Castle so much that a fight broke out and they had to be pulled apart. That is pretty bad. I'm actually going to suspend DJ. We haven't been really using him, so I'm not really concerned about what we're going to do with him, but I just don't tolerate backstage fighting between people. That's completely unacceptable. Oh, really? That's interesting. Well, then, I will fine him. Too bad. So, Dalton, as you saw, DJ very unhappy with that decision, as I just fined him and basically penalized him. But Dalton very happy with it. He felt that was an appropriate response. And then we have a incident involving Rachel Ellering and Bobby Lashley. I can't even imagine what this is going to be. Okay. Rachel Ellering was brought before a wrestler's court, apparently being held now by Bobby Lashley, accused of forgetting to shake another worker's hand when entering the locker room. The judge, Bobby Lashley, found her guilty and sentenced her to buy drinks for everyone after the show. That's fine. There you go. That's almost sweet. So, locker room backstage is still falling apart, though. Let's go ahead and I'm going to risk something here. I think I'm just going to do a hardline stance. This has a chance of just having people walk, but it may actually allow us to just gain some credibility in our locker room. There you go. Eli Drake has just walked out. But we boosted our ratings. And listen, hey, Eli was very unhappy. So basically, I just set the line, just said, hey, anyone who wants to leave, just leave. No problem, no penalty, just go. So that's, not great, but honestly, we really weren't using him anyways. And it did improve the locker room. There's a little bit more credibility within the locker room now. And so that's fine. Let's go ahead and set up the show, see what we got going on here. See where we're going to be. We're expecting about 1,700 fans for Starrcade. All right. That seems pretty good. It seems about on average with what we're expecting usually. Let's see where we're going to do Columbus Fair. See what that is actually housing. So 1,500 is going to cost us 4,500. It's within our region that we're looking to promote, so that'll be good. So we can't get the 1,600 fans that are expected. But honestly, I don't want to invest in a larger venue anyways and then have empty seats. I would rather sell out. That would not be the worst thing in the world. In fact, actually, I believe in the game, if you sell out, it gives you a bonus to it because basically it boosts like the popularity. I'm not positive. Someone probably can correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that if you have a sellout, there's some type of like boost or bump in the stats for that in terms of popularity bonus. Just because people get excited when they hear that there's a sellout. It's the same reason why, WWE constantly talks about, oh, we sold out this arena, even though they never actually did. There's tons of empty seats, but they want to keep the appearance up that they're popular and stuff like that. So I think there's something within the mechanics of the game that kind of deal with that. So in this case, going under and having 100 fans off the table wouldn't be the end of the world if it gives us that bonus. Of course, I could be completely wrong about that. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that, though. Okay, then. So let's go ahead and we'll take a cut here, and then we will book the show and come back and see another episode of Starrcade. All right, and we are back to run our next episode of Starrcade. Now, this is our second episode before our April pay-per-view on the Friday. So this is the second to the go-home show. So kind of leading up to the crescendo there. We'll see what happens here. All right, so we start off with a promo to start off the show with Enzo Amore, who comes to the ring, in a very big spectacle. He's playing his music. He's trying to rile up the crowd. He's talking about how it's the quote unquote Zoe show, as you would imagine. He's pushing the idea that he won the championship fair and square, and that he's here to, it's his show now, basically. In the process, he talks about how he's going to, open up a challenge. He's going to challenge anybody in the locker room. And Dalton Castle comes out to challenge him, and he's like, "Okay, absolutely, let's go have a match, no problem. I could show you that I am the best in the entire area. I am the best in the entire world, the entire show. No big deal. I can beat you very, very easily." Enzo showing a little bit of heelishness. Remember, he started off as a face here, but we know that that's going to very quickly start to change. He's cheated to win. He got, interference to win. He used that opportunity. That ego of being on top of the mountains very quickly going to consume him and go back to the default state of who he is. So Castle debuted. Got an awful gimmick, unfortunately. That's a shame, as I love Dalton Castle, but whatever. Okay, TEW, whatever you say. Got the show off to a great start, which is fantastic, which I kind of expected because, Enzo is a amazing microphone performer. So if you want to get a crowd riled up, he definitely, his long performances can definitely work a crowd very easily. Performance of Enzo is good. Castle underperformed. And a hint of a heel turn didn't go down well with the crowd, who still remember his recent turn. That's interesting. And then, so they got the C-, which is not bad. Do we want to turn him yet? It might go poorly. That's fine. Let's do it. Let's turn him. Do a complete turn. I mean, he has great... we'll do it. Switch to Guido gimmick. Gimmick was rated as great. Turn went badly, which is fine. They don't quite believe it, but it'll work in time. No, we're fine with that. Okay. Go. So next up, we have just a tag team exhibition match. We know that the cult of Josephus has now kind of staked a claim in the tag team scene, saying that they're going to use their powers to showcase, the gold and the victory will show the world of their higher powers, strength. And what we have here is just them versus the Bruiserweights versus the cult of Josephus. Extremely short match. The Colt beats the Bruiserweights. Josephus Brody defeated John Skyler with a submission. We also had Kahagas, who was on the ringside, run in and attack Corey Hollis when the ref was turned around. E+, none of these guys are that great except for Sammy, who's definitely outshining the rest. But Josephus gets the win just to kind of give him a bit of a rub, give him a bit of a push here. Looks like he got a strained wrist injury too, which shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's about what I would expect from them here. And then we have a angle afterwards. They cut a promo, and basically what they're saying at the end is that they're going to be coming for the belts. They're kind of going through their droning monologues of their sermons again, over their corpses of the victims that they just had in the tag team match. They're saying that, they're going to, at the next pay-per-view, they're going to be the ones that dethrone Gin and Juice. They're going to take the tag belts, and they're going to show the true power of the Lord of Light that Josephus has been, sermonizing about. And during the middle of their sermon, the crew come out, Ricky Reyes and Little Cholo. They come out, and they're basically, kind of battling back and forth. They're just saying that, they're the dominant force. They're the ones that are going to be the, number one contenders. And essentially, they set up a match between the crew and the cult for next week in the go-home show of Starrcade for the number one contendership to fight Gin and Juice at the pay-per-view. D-, we didn't expect much here, though it does move forward both their storylines, which is nice, and Sami Callihan's promo time is getting a little bit better as gimmick, which is nice. Now we have a little angle with Nick Aldis. Actually, in a backstage interview, he goes off about how much he hated that match. He talks about Enzo and the loss, and essentially he's kind of rambling, but he kind of pushes in and says that he's going to reclaim his belt. He has a rematch clause, and he's going to initiate that next week at Starrcade, and he will, fight either Enzo or Dalton Castle and reclaim his 10 pounds of gold, that it was a fluke what happened, and he will show the world very quickly that he is still the NWA champion, that both deserves it and the NWA championship holder that the world deserves. He still, in his eyes, views himself as basically the true heir to the belt. And that's important to Nick Aldis. He mentions that a lot in his interview, that he is the heir to this, that everything he's done in his life has built to this moment, to be the champion, to wear a nice suit out there, to be respectful to the belt, to be respectful to the legacy and the culture of the NWA. And he feels that Enzo does not care about that. He's using it as a trophy, a status symbol, and it goes deeper for Nick Aldis than it does Enzo, and that's why he's going to win next week. Got the crowd hotter, which is good. Everyone loves seeing Nick Aldis out there cutting a promo, and we could tell with that rating. We go into a very quick match. Apparently had subpar wrestling, a little heat, which makes sense. Ashley Vox defeats Serena Deeb in 4 minutes 55 seconds. with a fish hooks after interference from Tenille. Basically, they're having a little exhibition match in the women's division, and when there was a moment that Serena Deeb looked like she was going to win, Tenille actually came out at a ringside and just smashed her when the ref wasn't looking and allowed Ashley Vox to pick up the win. Tenille's still doing this thing that she's not calling out anybody. She's not really picking anybody. She's sort of just attacking randomly all the women on the division and saying, I'm better than you. You'll never get a chance. I'm the one that controls this. And, she's showing that here again tonight by influencing a win that she had no right to even be involved in. It's a D-, which isn't bad. Neither of them have great performance ratings. This was the first time Serena Deeb actually came out, which apparently our gimmicks, I tell you dudes, our gimmicks are really floundering here. We've got an awful fan favorite gimmick for Serena Deeb. At least Ashley Vox, who I think also had an awful rating for her gimmick last time we premiered her. At least she's getting better at it. But man, we just cannot win with the gimmicks here. Everyone seems to hate everything that everyone's doing. That's a real shame. But, they did okay. That's about what I would expect from them, especially given their performance ratings. We have another promo. Billy Corgan comes out to the ring, and he wants to apologize to the crowd. And what he ends up saying is that he was away signing a new talent. He's very excited. He had to talk very, very long. He had to go overseas to talk to this person because they are very frequently working over there, and it was very hard to find a time. And he feels that it's a very important signing for the legacy of the NWA. And then that person will premiere and have his first match at our next pay-per-view in 2 weeks. And he apologizes for the actions of the founder's grandson, Paul Pinky George III, and says that it's not appropriate and he will ensure that it never happens again. Paul Pinky George kind of comes out and just says a bunch of nonsense and just basically saying that, Corgan doesn't really care about the company, not the way George does. George sees the vision of the company in a way that Corgan doesn't, and he'll show him. And he's like, you're not going to last here forever. Remember, I still have the founder clause, and that's the first time we've ever heard about that. This quote unquote founder clause, but. Billy Corgan actually looks a little disturbed when he hears about this founder's clause. And we don't hear much else about that. And Corgan kind of just gets hushed, and he leaves, and George leaves as well. There nothing really happening here. Pretty weak rating. Neither of these guys are great on the mic. Don't have a good entertainment value. But it's important for the story of the NWA that these guys are here. And we're starting to see maybe the rising action of the conflict between these two starting to show up here. We have a little exhibition match to kind of cut up some of the promos and boost our ratings a little bit, since people had to sit through some pretty droning promos in the last couple minutes. We kind of wanted to give them something exciting. Definitely something exciting here. It's a decent match, rated 61 with a C rating. Will Ospreay versus El Tejano Jr. in 11 minutes with a 6:30 splash. A little high spots match. Nothing really noteworthy to talk about. Will Ospreay is way beyond Tejano in performance. But it's a fun little match. It seemed like didn't necessarily get the crowd hotter, didn't really do anything, but it served its purpose of just kind of boosting up the performance of the show. And to our finale for our main event, which actually didn't do too great, which is a shame. In a decent match, Enzo Amore defeats Dalton Castle in 11 minutes by a count out. Enzo makes defense number 1. Enzo's got a 51 rating. Dalton Castle's got a 32. Boy, that doesn't seem right. But, what ends up happening essentially, Enzo kind of gets a bit of a tainted win. He cheats a little bit. He gets Dalton outside, ends up smashing his face in on a ring pole. Dalton can't get back in time, and Enzo gets a count-out victory on Dalton Castle, gets to keep his belt. Does a D, 46. It's fine. That's not great for your main event, but we'll deal with it. But Enzo keeps his belt. So we now know that Nick Aldous and Enzo will be going head-to-head in a rematch next week. And presumably the winner of that will face somebody. We'll see who it is at the pay-per-view. So let's see how our show got rated out here. Increased our popularity, 18 regions. D+ should be enough to not upset Hulu. I can't remember whether they require a C- or a D+. They're probably going to drop us soon, but I think we only have a 3-month deal with them anyways. It won't be that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and take a look here. See what we're looking at. All right. We got some emails waiting here. Hulu upset? Maybe? No? Okay, so we must be D-, I think, might be what our requirement is for Hulu. So that seemed like that went fine. Enzo's got some opinions. I don't care what you have to say, dude. TV rating 0.02, which is better. We're growing in popularity because we were a 0.01. Well, Osprey's getting a little hurt. Brody's injured, but he should be fine. There's nothing else really going on there. So that's not bad. Money's not bad. Money's not too bad. We're, that's looking okay. I think we're starting to see a bump here in our revenue stream. Ticket sales, TV sales are doing really well. All right, I think we're turning it in here. We might actually be starting to make money. That would be nice. I mean, we still have a cushion. I'm not too concerned. I'm not gonna edit the database or anything like that. I want to try to play this as legit as we can. Money issue is gonna be a problem, but I think we'll be okay. And like I said, my theory still going forward is that we will, we will start to gain money through the increase of popularity because it'll lead up to a greater buy-in with our pay-per-views that we'll do. So we have another Starrcade in 6 days. Let's take a look at what we're looking at for momentum is kind of the thing I'm interested in. Regional battles, actually, while we're looking at it, might as well look at the Midwest. We should be looking pretty good, I would imagine. Yeah, number 5. But even the ones that we're not involved in, we should be looking pretty healthy because of the TV show, which is good for us. We're still primarily just airing. It's a tri-state. We're not even on here, I don't think. No. We're getting no rep there. It's kind of hard to dethrone Ring of Honor for the regional battle there. For national battle, we're going to get nothing. That's fine. Who's the most popular in Hawaii? I wonder. Ring of Honor. Apparently, it's kind of funny. And then what we wanted to look at is we wanted to look at our finances. Let me go back here. No, not finances. I wanted to look at our performance. I wanted to see what we're looking at in terms of our progress for our performance here. Still about where we were. We had that dip originally, which was kind of weird, but actually, importance worse. Popularity. There we go. Popularity, 33. So we're not growing yet. Though, we got some signings going on. I think the next pay-per-view will really change the momentum of this show. At least I hope so. Definitely, I think at least with the next pay-per-view, our money situation will start improving and we'll start building up some more momentum, gaining some more prestige. We're still ranked 31st. We'll have to see what we look at in May. But yeah, I think we're getting there. I think that's not too bad. I think we'll get there. All right, guys, that was another episode. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you around.